Now, 27 different parties, 1,166 candidates, all vying for the 150 seats up for grabs in the House of Representatives. A huge ballot paper then after the shaky ruling coalition in the Netherlands collapsed due to a row over immigration. Fears now that far-right parties will be those that benefit amid some violent protests in the country. Polls suggesting the far-right Freedom Party, led by Geert Wilders, could repeat its election win from 2023. Well, Philip Turle, International Affairs Editor, is with me here on set. Philip, as I said there, the polls showing Wilders set to come out very much on top again.
Yep, polling booths been open since 7:30 this morning. That's about 2.5 hours already. Due to close at 9 o'clock tonight. 13 million voters due to cast their ballots. So a lot of, I think, expectation on the part of many of the political parties in the Dutch government, hoping to renew their seats there. As you were saying, 27 lists are competing, 1,186 candidates. They're all trying to get seats in the 150 second chamber, and to obtain a majority, obviously you're going to need 76 seats, which is something that has never been achieved in the Netherlands over the past century. So we're looking probably at another coalition government. As far as the opinion polls go so far, we see that the Party for Freedom of Geert Wilders, as you were saying, is in the lead. He's given about 34 seats. That's an optimistic rating for him, but that will be down from the 37 that he has at the moment. Some polls are giving him only 27, 28 seats. What we're seeing this time round is an increase in support for the GroenLinks PvdA alliance, which is on 25. That's a centre-left grouping, a coalition grouping led by Frans Timmermans, who's a former EU commissioner. And a boost for the Christian Democrats under Henry Bottenbal, who's given 23 seats. That's centre-right. So the question is, will either of those parties manage to obtain more seats than Geert Wilders' Party for Freedom? We'll know that later on today. There are a couple of other parties which need to be mentioned. One is D66, Democratic 66, named after 1966 when it was first created. That's run by Rob Jetten, who's a former climate minister. He's the youngest candidate. He's only 38 years old. And the VVD, which is the conservative right-wing party under Dilan Yeşilgöz, who's a former Turkish refugee. That was the former ruling party of Mark Rutte when he was Prime Minister of the Netherlands. It's fallen in support because it's seen as swinging more to the extreme right, and it's not even said it wouldn't support Geert Wilders if it was re-elected to Parliament. As far as the other parties are concerned, they say they're not going to support him, basically for the following reason, is that it was Geert Wilders who pulled the plug on the last government because his anti-immigrant, anti-asylum seeker campaign was deemed unacceptable to the other coalition parties because he wanted to secure the border, send refugees home, and also suspend EU asylum quotas. The government said, no, we're not going to go with that. So he pulled the plug on the government. That's why the Dutch are now going back to the polls today.
What about the issues then, Philip? What are they?
Well, there are quite a few main issues, but as you can probably guess, a lot of them turn around immigration. And I think probably one of the most important issues is housing. Now, that may seem something far away from immigration, but immigration is linked to that because 10% of social housing in particular is handed over to immigrants. And many Dutch are saying, look, we've been waiting to get social housing for years, sometimes 10, 15 years. We still don't have it. We're tired of immigrants getting automatic housing when they come into the country. The other main issues are health, asylum, of course, and immigration. And I think that is where the election has been orientated over the past couple of months over who is going to be more against immigration and who is going to be more lax as far as immigration is concerned. The Green Left Labour Party coalition said, well, it plans to build 100,000 homes because basically many Dutch people can't afford to buy a house or to rent somewhere to live. It won't cut social welfare or health sectors. The Conservative Party, the VVD, has said that it wants to cut taxes but will also increase defence spending. Even though it says it might link up with Geert Wilders' party, it's still remaining resolutely European in its outlook. Now, one other mention for Henry Bottenbal of the CDA, the Christian Democrats. He is may be seen as being a future compromise candidate for Prime Minister if there is a refusal by all the other political parties to govern with Geert Wilders, who looks like he may not be part of the new government, having pulled out of the old government. They just don't see him as being someone whom they can have any confidence in.
Philip, it's the fourth Dutch election in 3 years. Can you forgive the Dutch for becoming a little bit apathetic?
I think that is also something else that is quite worrying, is what is the abstention rate going to be today, and also how do people in the Netherlands feel about politics. Some of the polls saying that only 4% of the Dutch now have confidence in politicians, which is a really very low number. 2 out of 3, when questioned about this election, say they don't know or they didn't know before going to the polling station who they were going to vote for. And a lot of young people have said they are not interested in voting. They're going to abstain. So there are these groups going around trying to enthuse young people to go to the polling station for the first time to vote for a party, saying this could be a threat to democracy in the Netherlands if they don't turn out and vote, and they need a strong turnout. Whatever happens, if Geert Wilders' party is not in the new coalition government, that's going to increase the divide between the people in the Netherlands who voted for him and those who didn't vote for him. Those who did vote for him will say, oh, look, Geert Wilders has never been given the occasion. He was never given the job as Prime Minister. He hasn't been able to go all the way through the policies that he has presented to see whether they would work or not. And now he's being denied another occasion to try to do that. So that's going to widen the demand for him to be given a job and taken into the government. If he isn't taken into the government, then we could see a much bigger gap between the two political spectrums in the Netherlands. So I think we'll have to keep an eye on what happens later today. First exit polls are due once the voting ends at 9 p.m. tonight.